بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إن الحمد لله نحمده تعالى ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فهو المهتدي ومن يضلل فلن تجد له وليا مرشدا وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله أدى الأمانة ونصح الأمة وكشف الله به الغمة فجزاه الله عنا خير ما جاز رسولا عن دعوته ونبيا عن أمته. اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا الحبيب Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. All praise is due to Allah, the compassionate, the merciful. May Allah, the praise and peace be upon Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. We bear witness that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is our creator, and we bear witness that Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is the seal of prophets. He had conveyed the message of Islam to the best of his ability, and he had shown us a straight path towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And I ask Allah Almighty to make us among those who follow the footsteps of our beloved Prophet, and to make us among those who adhere to his sunnah, and to make us among those who will drink from his hands on the day of judgment and reside with him in the highest level of paradise at Firdaus al-A'la. Allahumma ameen, ameen, ameen. Ya ahbab Rasulillah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala constantly reminds us with the concept of taqwa. Ya ayyuha alladhina amanu attaqullah wal tanzur nafsum ma qaddamat li ghad wattaqullah inna Allaha khabirun bima ta'malun. I have a thought to share with you today, inshallah. You know, a few weeks ago, maybe you're very familiar with this story, or maybe been addressed in the minbar. But earlier in September, there's this young Muslim kid, Ahmed Muhammad, who's from Irving, Texas, near Dallas. Probably you saw that on your news feed on Twitter or Facebook, or on many of the news outlets out there. They're covering the story because it became a viral story and was covered by many outlets or news outlets. This young man, 14 years old, he wanted to impress his teachers, and so he built a digital clock, not a complete set yet, the wires still sticking out and so on and so forth. And he showed it to one of his teachers that was very impressed by his invention, and he had it in some sort of a suitcase. But another teacher got scared from it and thought it's a bomb, and probably know the rest of the story. Or they got scared of him, and she calls the principal. The principal comes, and they take him and they call in the police, and the police takes him to juvenile detention and so on and so forth. Interesting. Definitely there's a lot of elements of Islamophobia in the story. People think it's a bomb and they keep everybody there. That's a problem. And they sit next to it. Bigger problem. So definitely there's elements of Islamophobia there. But that's not what I want to speak about. What I want to mention is, or relate to myself and yourself. You know, when I saw this news feed on Wednesday morning, on social media, I believe it was Facebook for this time. And you see the comments from many of us, many of the brothers or sisters, Muslim or not, that feeling bad for this young man and how horrible he was treated and so on and so forth. Now by Wednesday evening and Thursday morning, the table has turned. The news became viral, or the story became viral, and we saw how this young kid who was detained and treated badly, now everybody is praising him. Get an invitation from Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton mentions him, Mark Zuckerberg inviting him to Facebook. He gets a call from Harvard, from MIT, from NASA, and so on and so forth. He's getting that publicity, or he's getting that recognition, not publicity, recognition for the good work that he has done. And within a matter of days, the life of this young man changed. And it became this feel-good story on TV stations or or the social media feeds and so on and so forth. Which is good, alhamdulillah. Now we know that he just accepted, and he went to meet Obama, and then he went, I think he met the president of Sudan, and he went to Qatar, and now he got a scholarship to go continue his education in Qatar. You can debate good, bad thing. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give him what's best for him, ya Rabbi. But what I want to comment on, brothers and sisters, sometimes we come too early to make a judgment while we're just reading the first chapter of a book. You see a story, or you are going through a difficulty, or you're going through a phase of your life, and you make a quick judgment as if this is the final thing. A few weeks back, I was given a khutbah in a different masjid in the Bay Area, and one of the brothers afterwards came and said, Jazakallah khair, or something along these lines, and then, he held me, he's like, make dua for me, brother. I'm going through a difficult time. And what I want to mention to you, brothers and sisters, that going through a difficult time, whether at young age, old age, middle age, a phase of your life, is part of the sunnah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's going to happen. It could be financial, it could be physical. I mean, your body is aching, you're sick, it could be emotional, it could be distress, it could be family problems, what have you. But my point to you is, don't make a judgment on the first chapter or the second chapter, or while you're going through that difficult time, saying, I'm doomed, that's it. Saying that I'm doomed, that's it, or that's the final thing. Because we haven't seen nor read the final chapter. Sallu ala Rasulillah. Allahumma salli wa sallim wa barik ala Sayyidina Muhammad. I want to give you two examples from the Quran. This is not it's something that we can see from the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because brothers and sisters, maybe you just got laid off right now. Maybe your child that was born is disabled. Maybe you have marital problems. Maybe you have physical problems. Don't sit, cocoon yourself and saying, that's it for me. That is not what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants from me and you, sister. Don't think that you have that difficulty with your child. It's the end of it. He's gone. Or she's gone. Sallu ala Rasulillah. Allahumma salli wa sallim wa barik ala Sayyidina Muhammad. It's Friday. It's good to praise Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I want to give two quick examples for you. One example is one of my favorites, or my favorite surah in the Quran. The story of Sayyidina Yusuf alayhi salam. The story of Sayyidina Yusuf alayhi salam is full of action. And if you come to Hollywood right now, or Bollywood, or Cairo movies and so on, you try to write a script that the story of Sayyidina Yusuf is like, no, that's too fictitious, man, it can't happen this way. Unbelievable, the story is not believable, you can't make a movie out of it. But sometimes Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put us in situations so we can experience them, but the result or the end result is different than that condition that we're in. And Sayyidina Yusuf alayhi salam's story is a great example of that. At a young age, he has that ru'ya, the dream, that he's going to become something. And he tells that to his father. And his father is telling him, don't tell this ru'ya, don't tell this dream to your siblings, because they might be jealous and conspire against you. So if you are at his age, 11, 12, 13, he has that dream, think he's going to become a king or going to become something big and everybody will follow and so on and so forth. He had it, right? And his father, who's a prophet, is confirming something, just keep it. You think he had it all. But you come to the next phase of his story, he has that dream, then what's going on? His own brothers, half brothers, are conspiring against him because he's beloved by his own. But they think that his dad loves him more than or cares for him more than cares for them. So they take him out to go play with him, they wanted to kill him, and one of them decides, how about we suggest we throw him in the well? And he's put in the well, and some of us might think, that's very merciful of his brother. He didn't want to kill him. I might argue that or debate that a little bit. If you kill somebody, it's easy death, right? He dies right away. But if you put a young child in a deep, dark well, that is called slow death. And that's torture and punishment. It could be more severe than just killing him right there on the spot. But that's what happens to Sayyidina Yusuf alayhi salam. And he's thrown in that well. He said, that's it. A young man can't survive that. No food, in a dark place, no way for him to get up. His story is over. It's the second chapter. But Allah tells us there's continuation for that story. And then Sayyidina Yusuf alayhi salam, people come and they take him out of that well. Oh, alhamdulillah, he's freed. But he's sold, to the house of Al-Aziz, or the person in charge of treasury, or the king, at least if you wish, or one of the very influential people in Egypt. And he said, that's it, he made it. He's going to live a good life. He's in the best house that could be in Egypt, in that kingdom. But there's a different twist to the story. He's trying to be, the wife of Al-Aziz is trying to seduce him. And he says, قَالَ مَعَاذَ اللَّهِ. He says, I fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He didn't want to have that unlawful relationship with the wife of Al-Aziz. Then he's thrown in prison. And he lasts for several years. And he said, that's it, that's his life. It's ended there. But then he comes out of prison. And he's, he decodes the dream of Al-Aziz, and he's appointed, and now he's in charge. But you see what I'm trying to say, brothers? That story keeps on changing. If you read only, you stopped, and when he was thrown in prison, he said that's the end of Sayyidina Yusuf alayhi salam. But the story continues. If you're going through a difficult time, your life continues. And you don't know what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has in store for you. And you know what's more difficult for Sayyidina Yusuf, and I believe the most difficult test that he went through, not when he was thrown in the well, not when he was, but he was seduced by the wife of Al-Aziz, not when he was in prison, but actually his difficult and the most difficult test that he had is when he was in power. Because he had the might and he had the power and the money and the ability, and his own brothers who tried, who conspired against him were under his mercy. But he showed that he is a prophet of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When he was able to harm them, he feared Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and he knows it's not about him, it's about the message that he came with. That's al-ihsan. Wallahu yuhibbu who? Al-muhsineen. Allah loves those who do excellence, to do their best. When you are in the powerful, mighty position you're in. النعمة في الرخاء أو الامتحان في الرخاء ممكن يكون أصعب من الامتحان في الوقت الضيق. Being tested while at ease, it could be much more difficult test than when you're going through a difficult and hardship or a difficult time. So ya ahbab Rasulullah, don't judge early on that story. If you have a difficult time, if you have something wrong going on, don't say that's it. Don't think it's the end of the world. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has something better for you, better in store for you. I'll tell you, a friend of mine who worked at Amazon. I know you might, I think the headquarters is in Seattle. So earlier in the year, back in February, March, some change in the structure. He works in the Bay Area, where I come from, Lab 126, I think it's called. So he works there. And there was some change in management. So he wanted out, he wanted to leave. And he started preparing his resumes, and he started interviewing at Google, at Nest, Google Nest, and many other companies. And alhamdulillah, very good positions. And he gets very good feedback, but all of them, subhanallah, turned out, they turned him down. None of them gave him an offer. And after 4 or 5, he tries to start questioning and saying, what's wrong, subhanAllah? What's going on? Like, he can start feeling a bit, I would say, not angry, but disappointed that he's not getting any offers from these other companies, even though he does very well throughout these interviews. What happened from March till today, brothers and sisters? Amazon was at $328, $330 a stock. Today is at $630. If you have 1,000 stocks, it's a $300,000 profit. Right? Listen to this. وَعَسَىٰ أَن تَكْرَهُوا شَيْئًا وَهُوَ خَيْرٌ لَكُمْ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, you might detest something, but there's good in it for you. You do not know. Don't judge on that first chapter, second chapter, that difficult time that you're going through, that maybe challenge that you're going through. You might be Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala storing good for you in that. وَعَسَىٰ أَن تُحِبُّوا, and you might love something, want something, but Allah doesn't want it for you. He has something better for you in store. You do not know the harm in that spouse that you proposed to and she said no. Or that job that you really wanted and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has something better for you. Allah plans better than we do. And sometimes you have that ar-rida. I'm not saying you should not strive, you should not struggle. But don't make a judgment saying that you're doomed. Because that's not the final chapter. And this life that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala we go through, sometimes some tests may not make sense to us. Sallu ala Rasulillah. Allahumma salli wa sallim barak Sayyidina Muhammad. What's better than the story of Sayyidina Musa alayhi salam? Fir'aun had the dream that somebody's going to come from the people, from the Jews, and he's going to, threaten his throne. So the suggestion is kill every young boy is born. So you start killing them every year, and then his people start complaining, hey, wait on, hold on. You're killing all the young boys, we're not going to have servants after a few years. Look, subhanAllah al-ubdi, how these guys want to enslave them. So kill 1 year and 1 year off. So allow some men that will grow in the service later on. And he does so. And Sayyidina Musa is born. Who's his enemy? It's Fir'aun. Isn't he? But Allah chose the house of Fir'aun for Sayyidina Musa to grow up in. Allah is telling the mother of Sayyidina Musa, put him in that small Jewish casket or that small place and put him in the river. Think of it. Any mother will do that. And she did. And he lands in front of the house of Fir'aun, and his mother, we know the wife of Fir'aun, Asya, may Allah be pleased with her. She wanted him to stay and so on and so forth. But look how the story, and he grew up in that house to run away from that house. Sometimes maybe that story, that chapter you're reading may not make sense to you. Allah's not giving victory to the believers. Maybe you're seeing what's taking place, because I heard this recently, many people. Was it worth it? Many people are challenged right now because of what's taking place, for example, in Syria. Was it worth it that people spoke up, and tried to rebel against the tyrant? It's only part of that chapters, brothers. I know many people died endless death. But with difficulties comes ease. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, Sallu ala Rasulillah. In a hadith, I'm going to mention the last part of it. وَاعْلَمْ أَنَّ النَّصْرَ مَعَ الصَّبْرِ وَأَنَّ الْفَرَجَ مَعَ الْكَرْبِ وَأَنَّ مَعَ الْعُسْرِ يُسْرًا. You should know that victory comes with patience. وَأَنَّ الْفَرَجَ مَعَ الْكَرْبِ, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will open it for you and make it easy for you, is when after you go through a difficult time. وَأَنَّ مَعَ الْعُسْرِ يُسْرًا. And with difficulties comes a lot of ease from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's what you have to end with, brothers and sisters, what I want to point out on this point. Having the amal in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Hope in Allah. No matter what is it that you're going through, brothers and sisters, whatever difficulty that you're going through, don't make that final judgment, say, it's over, it's the end of the story, it's done. You do not know it's done. You're still alive. You haven't read that final chapter. And there's many books, so if you wish, I'm trying to just make this parallel. Maybe your life is one chapter. There's the community life is another chapter. There is the whole Muslim Ummah is another chapter. And there could be many, many chapters. The point that we believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we believe in His wisdom. And we know that in this life we will experience difficulties. We will. And we don't know the good that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has stored for us. But if you firmly believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and constantly strive, إن مع العسر يسرا. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله العظيم لي ولكم فاستغفروه إنه غفور رحيم. الحمد لله وكفى والصلاة والسلام على رسوله الذي اصطفى سيدنا محمد بن عبد الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه. To recap quickly, for I know many of us come late. My message is a simple one, hopefully today. That many of us sometimes go through difficult times and we start feeling down and make a judgment, maybe at the personal level or at the family level, community level, society level, and saying, that's it, it's the end of the world, there's no way out of this dark tunnel. But subhanAllah, you see in the example of Sayyidina Muhammad, in the example of Sayyidina Ibrahim, in the example of Sayyidina Yusuf, in the example of Sayyidina Isa, Sayyidina Nuh, who all of them went through very, very, very difficult times at very different stages in their personal life, in their community life, and so on and so forth. Muslims at the time of Prophet Muhammad went through many difficult times. You know, in the battle of Al-Khandaq, you know, everybody's surrounding the Muslims. And the Prophet and his companions are digging a trench, right? You know, some of the companions used to say they feared to do what? To go and use the restroom. They feared for their lives. But Sayyidina Muhammad ﷺ is digging the trench, and that spark comes in, and then what does he say? Futihat. He sees that we are going to open Persia. Are you going to have Siwarai Kisra? You're going to have that. Imagine, he's being surrounded. And people are scared to go use the restroom, relieve themselves. But he has that hope and amal in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Keep it in mind, brothers and sisters, that inna ma'al usri yusra, with difficulties comes ease. I want to end with, I think the brother told me that today there's an election for the community. They didn't tell me to say anything. But if you witnessed, I came to this masjid, but it probably was a couple of weeks old. There was 20 people praying, not far away from here. The first Ramadan I would remember fundraising. 20 people there. Difficult to pay the rent. Difficult to get people to come. Difficult to try to make a community. And maybe back then people had that same negative attitude, can't be done. There's already another masjid, why should you do it? And alhamdulillah, the community took on this big project. And alhamdulillah that you're praying in it. And that 24 people, maybe I saw the first time I came here, now you have 800 people and 1,000 people coming. Because some people had the vision. And they had that firm belief in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If you work, Allah will open it for you. Allah will make it happen. Brothers and sisters, we can't just sit down and say, there's too many difficulties happening. Islamophobia is out there. Everybody's against you. You gotta get dirty. You gotta help with the community. Whether by being a member, voting, petition, help. Be part of that caravan. Sayyidina Yusuf did not sit back. Sayyidina Ibrahim did not sit back. Sayyidina Muhammad ﷺ did not sit back. Have that positive attitude and be part of what can make a difference. Be part of your community. Give back. And leave the results up to Rabbil Alameen, not to you and me. But don't sit and read chapters of that book of this community and be a bystander. Be a doer, be part of those who write the script and the story of this community. Be part of the Ummah of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Not just by coming on Friday praying and leaving, or Ramadan praying and leaving. Be a doer, be an active ingredient of this community. And you can help, inshallah ta'ala, bi'idhnillah ta'ala, to write a better future. To have something better for the Ummah of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Allahumma ya Allah, ya Mannan, ya Rahman, ya Rahim. Ya Rabb al-Alameen, ya Akram al-Akrameen. Allahumma ya Allah, ya Rahman, ya Rahim. Oh Allah, we ask you, Ya Allah, to bless this community, to bless this gathering, and to cure the sick amongst us, Ya Rabb al-Alameen. And anyone amongst us who has a debt, Ya Allah, we ask you to help him or her to pay it off, Ya Rabb al-Alameen. Oh Allah, we ask you, Ya Rabb al-Alameen, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim, to help our brothers and sisters abroad. Those who just experienced the earthquake in Afghanistan and Pakistan and India, Ya Rabb al-Alameen. Oh Allah, we ask you, Ya Rabb al-Alameen, to relieve our brothers and sisters in Syria, in Palestine, in Burma, in Iraq, in Egypt, across the globe, Ya Rabb al-Alameen. Oh Allah, we ask you to enable us and help us to read the Quran and understand and ponder upon the Quran and understand it and live it, Ya Rabb al-Alameen. Ya Mannan, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim, Ya Rabb al-Alameen, Ya Akram al-Akramin, Sturna fawqa al-ard, wa tahta al-ard, wa yawm al-ard alayka, Ya Rabb al-Alameen. Allahumma Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim, ij'al al-Quran al-Azim rabi'a qulubina, Ya Allah. Allahumma Ya Allah, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim, farrij an ikhwanina fi Syria, وفي فلسطين وأفغانستان وباكستان وبرما وبنغلاديش وفي أفريقيا وفي مالي وفي نيجير وغينيا وجميع أنحاء الأرض يا رب العالمين. اللهم وأعنا على إعانتهم، اللهم أعنا على إعانتهم، اللهم أعنا على إعانتهم يا رب العالمين. وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين، وصل اللهم وبارك على سيدنا محمد وأقم الصلاة. إمام جبان.
الله أكبر الله